With the what? Yeah, I have. Yeah, could end up a good fight. I think if Chris has a fight with Conor, it ends up a good fight. But I think Conor's got even more of a chance next time round because, like I said, I think Chris is 1 or 2 fights away from being done. Off his balance.
Huge amount out of him, and that we both signed for the rematch. That was one of the reasons we took the deal. Is that we knew it was 2 fights and all the terms are the same. And
Liam Smith holds nothing back, tearing into Chris Eubank Jr., mocking his chances and backing Conor Benn for the rematch without blinking. He fires off, saying Conor's even more dangerous now and claims Eubank is just a fight or 2 away from being done. No matter what Liam or anyone else says, we're riding with Eubank Jr. till the very end. Come rematch night, it won't be Conor rising, it'll be Eubank silencing every doubt under those ropes. Who you backing, Eubank or Benn? Drop it in the comments and let's see where the real ones stand.
But I said to Conor, when I said about, maybe you look at 147, and he just looked at me and he said, if you think that fight was a war, wait till you see the rematch. I was like, and I just feel like
Eddie Hearn confirms the rematch and Conor Benn's response, pure vengeance. When asked about 147, he didn't flinch, just warned that this time it's total carnage. Hearn gave Eubank Jr. props for his sharp performance, but pointed out Benn looked a bit rusty. Let's get real, Eubank Jr. is operating on another level. Rust or not, Conor's walking straight into fire. The sequel's locked in, and Eubank's about to end the hype once and for all. Who's taking the rematch, Eubank or Benn? Sound off in the comments, and don't forget to follow for more Fight Night Fire.
Going back down to 147 and getting an opportunity for a world title because of how much that will take to go in.
Yeah, I think that we're at an advantage in the rematch.
Eddie Hearn just dropped the bomb. Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2 is signed, sealed, and set in stone. He says this one's going to be more savage, more violent, and way more personal than their first clash. Benn's fired up for revenge, but let's be clear, Eubank Jr. isn't here to survive. He's coming to destroy. Hearn admits Benn was off in the last fight, but this time, no excuses. Everything's locked in. The build-up's red hot, but when that bell rings, only one walks through the fire. This isn't just a rematch, it's a war. And once again, Eubank Jr. will rise from the ashes as the last man standing. Rematch locked, who takes it? Eubank or Benn? Drop your pick below and hit follow for the fire.
I want the revenge, man. I want my revenge. I think inactivity played a big part.
Conor Benn's not licking wounds. He's coming back with fire in his eyes and revenge on his mind. He blames ring rust for the loss and swears the first fight was a fluke. This isn't a broken man, it's a beast reborn, locked in and laser focused on Eubank Jr. It's obsessed with payback, ready to rip through Eubank like a storm. But here's the twist, Eubank's already seen Benn's best and broke him. The rematch won't be redemption. It'll be repeat domination.
With these rematches, with these types of intense fights taking place, like Conor and Eubank, a rematch right away will probably end their career. It's that intense. It's that. So look,
Oscar De La Hoya is all in for the Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. rematch, hyping it as a war waiting to explode. He's backing Benn with full belief, claiming the hunger for redemption makes him twice as dangerous. Benn blames ring rust for the first loss and refuses to let it define him. Here's the reality, Eubank Jr. didn't just beat him, he exposed him. De La Hoya might see fire in Benn, but Eubank sees weakness. The pressure's real, and while Benn prepares for war, Eubank's sharpening the blade that already cut him down. This won't be redemption, it'll be another brutal chapter in Eubank's rise.
I'll try to.
Conor, congratulations, even though you lost, it was a great fight. I think you've gained a lot of...
Nigel Benn erupts after watching his son fall, rage boiling over as he slams the result as a disgrace. He brands Chris Eubank Jr. a lucky opportunist who took advantage of Conor's rust, not his skill. Nigel doesn't hold back, demanding a rematch and vowing that a sharp, focused Conor will dismantle Eubank without mercy. He even goes as far as calling the first fight a setup, a false start before real carnage begins. as Fury sets off a firestorm, insisting the rematch will flip the entire script. But here's the twist. While Nigel screams for revenge, Eubank Jr. is already sharpening the axe. The storm's on the way, but the real question is, can Conor survive another clinical beating from the man who already broke him?
You saw that. Junior is too big a man. These weights that they are flouting they're destroying the fighters.
Chris Eubank Sr. delivers a ruthless verdict on the Benn versus Eubank Jr. clash, making one thing clear: this was never a fair fight. He exposes the massive gulf between the two, calling Benn outclassed from the opening bell and never in his son's league. Eubank Sr. doesn't pull punches, blasting Benn's extreme weight cut as not only reckless, but an insult to boxing's integrity. At the same time, he praises Junior's raw power and perfect preparation, saying no tricks could cover the sheer physical difference. To him, Benn was never built for a fighter of Eubank Jr.'s level. This wasn't just a fight, it was a harsh masterclass in size, strength, and discipline. Eubank Jr. didn't just win, he proved he's the dominant force in this war.
I think Conor once said next that he was talking about maybe going down in weight. I think if they want to get it on, they do it again, in 6 months' time, and we will come back here.
Adam Smith doesn't hold back breaking down the rematch. This is more than a fight, it's unfinished business on fire. He praises Chris Eubank Jr.'s resilience, calling his comeback a true mark of elite status, even with all the setbacks. On the other side, Benn burns with fury, determined to erase what he insists was a fluke loss. Smith says this isn't just a bout, it's personal. A grudge match loaded with emotion and everything on the line. Tension will build by the month, with Benn chasing redemption and Eubank Jr. focused on proving he's the dominant force. In 6 months, the boxing world will be glued to the ring, watching to see who rises as the true king of this rivalry. This isn't just a fight, it's a statement.
I think there's a rematch in the contract, so there's no doubt that they'll run that one back and do it all over again.
Harlem Eubank goes all in, ripping apart Conor Benn's defeat and exposing the hype for what it was: pure noise. He slams Benn's pre-fight trash talk as empty arrogance that backfired in the most humiliating way. According to Harlem, the gap between Benn's words and his performance was massive, and every round showed a lack of discipline and focus. The rematch is locked, and Harlem's prediction is brutal: another beatdown incoming. To him, Chris Eubank Jr.'s win wasn't just a victory, it was a power statement. Harlem's crystal clear: Benn was never in his cousin's league. The rematch will only confirm what the first fight screamed: Eubank Jr. is the real deal, a force no one in boxing can ignore or surpass.
We'll decide whether we do the rematch or drop down to natural weight 147 and fight for the world title.
Tony Sims comes out swinging, fiercely challenging the idea that Chris Eubank Jr. clearly beat Conor Benn. In Sims' eyes, Benn was the real boss that night, outworking, outsmarting, and outclassing Eubank in the fight's biggest moments. He slams the judges, calling it a robbery of a win Benn earned through sheer grit and heart. Sims is already fired up for the rematch, warning a sharper, more dangerous Benn is coming with no doubts left behind. The burning question now: does Benn chase world title glory at 147 or settle the score with Eubank Jr.? One thing certain: this war is far from over. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who takes the rematch? Like and subscribe for all the latest.